Namaste and welcome to this short, gentle movement and yin practice to release tension in the neck and shoulders. So maybe you have a job where you're staring at a computer or you're looking down at your phone a lot and you feel stress at the end of the day in the neck and shoulders area. So we'll just work through some postures today to relieve that tension. Our bodies carry both physical and emotional tension in this area, so it's always nice to move, open things up, and release anything that needs to be let go of. For this practice, I suggest 2 blocks if you have them. If you don't, that's okay. And a bolster. So if you don't have a bolster, perhaps a pillow of a similar shape, or something that might support you if you need it. We'll do a few postures that you might want to have these props. Okay, so we'll just get started in a seated position. Sitting up nice and tall, rest the hands on the legs, and close the eyes. Take a few breaths to settle into this space. Breathing in through the nose, all the way down into the belly, and exhaling back up through the chest and lungs and out through the nose. Just following the breath from where it starts at the nostrils, noticing maybe the coolness of the breath as you breathe in through the nose, following the breath all the way down to expand into the belly. And then notice the breath as it flows back out the nostrils, maybe feeling a little warmer on the exhale. Really tapping into your body. Notice how you feel. Notice if you have stress or tension that you can truly sense at this moment. Notice where your heart rate is at, your levels of stress and anxiety, where your nervous system is at. If it's the end of the day, doing your best to let go of anything from your day, anything from your week. If it's the morning, allowing this practice to set the tone for the day so that you can move into your day relaxed and calm. One of the main key points of yoga practice is to calm the nervous system. So taking a few more breaths just to allow the physical body to relax. We'll take 2 sigh breaths together to release anything that you need to get rid of that you may have brought onto your mat today. So take a nice deep breath in, fill the lungs, fill all the way down into the belly. Open the mouth, big sigh out. One more time, inhale fully and deeply, fill the lungs, fill the belly. All the way to the top, maybe one more sip in, and then open the mouth, shoulders drop, face relaxes. Keeping the eyes closed, just start to take some movement into the neck. So rolling the neck from side to side, ear to shoulder, chin to chest, ear to opposite shoulder, maybe full circles if that feels okay on your neck. Always listening to your body. Moving gently, especially in the yin practice, where we tend to hold the poses a little bit longer, so you can ease your way in, feel out where you notice sensation, and try not to push it further than just noticing the sensation. You'll notice that your body will open up with time. Okay, make your way back through center. Drop the chin down towards the chest. Option to stay here, lengthening out the back of the neck, or you can bring your hands behind the back of your head and let the elbows drop down towards the ground. And find length in the back of the neck, releasing any tension in the shoulders. Okay, gently release the hands, lift the chin. Bring your left hand on the outside of the right side of the head. Right fingertips reach down towards the ground and gently drop the left ear towards the shoulder. You can activate these fingertips down towards the ground. You should feel a nice stretch in the right side of the neck. And make your way back through center and switch over to the other side. So reaching left fingertips down towards the ground. Nice stretch into the left side of the neck. Okay, back through center. Shrug the shoulders, rolling them forward and up towards the ears and back. Okay, switching directions, up towards the ears and forward. Okay, and release. We'll do one more seated posture here, so arms to a T, and then bring left arm underneath right, grabbing for your shoulders. And drop the chin down towards the chest, and just give yourself a big hug here. Okay, lift the chin, arms to a T, switch sides, right arm underneath left, grab for both shoulders, drop the chin down towards the chest. Okay, gently release, open up the arms, release the arms down by your sides. Okay, we'll come into melting heart. So come on to hands and knees, tabletop position. Keep the hips stacked on top of the thighs, so we're not sitting back into child's pose. And then walk the hands forward. Okay, so if this is all you have, you can stay here with the head hovering above the ground. If you have the openness in the shoulders, releasing the forehead down towards the ground. If you want to go further, bringing the chin onto the ground. Pointing the tailbone up towards the ceiling, opening up the space in the shoulders and in the front of the chest. And breathing here. So we'll hold this for some time. If this is way too intense, or if you're hovering too much above the ground because your shoulders are tight, you can bring a block or a support underneath the forehead and rest the forehead down. Okay. So making sure that you're not forcing anything too much. You're gently in the pose. You should feel some perhaps discomfort, if that's the right word. You should feel the sensation without feeling pain. If you feel pain, back out of the pose. But discomfort is what this practice is all about. So we're not only opening up the physical body, moving deep into the connective tissues, bones, joints, ligaments, fascia, and creating space. We're also working with the mind. Not many of us, unless you have a meditation practice, not many of us take the time to just sit quietly, and especially sit quietly in a state of discomfort. Generally, if we're in a place that we don't really enjoy being, we whip out our phones and distract ourselves.
So seeing if you can sit with these postures with a calm mind. I'm talking a bit at the beginning, but I will quiet down as the practice moves forward. Last couple breaths here. You make your way onto hands and knees, tabletop position. Sit the hips back onto the heels. Rest the hands on the thighs, maybe palms face up. Close the eyes and just pause between postures. Allow your body to come back to a centered state. Letting the shoulders release. Relaxing the face. You blink open the eyes. We'll come into caterpillar pose. So options for this, if you have the bolster, I like placing the bolster under the knees. So some people, especially if you have really tight hamstrings, this is going to be the best bet for you. So some people really like this version of it. And you're coming forward like this. So if you have a pillow or a bolster, you're going to be targeting more the lower back and into the shoulders and the neck if you do it this way. Another option, if you want more of the hamstring stretch, is to bring a prop, a block, or a bolster on top of your legs and release the head down. So if you tend to have a tight neck and upper back, you should feel kind of that sensation that runs right from the nape of the neck all the way to the mid-back. That's where I feel it, at least. So I'm going to take the modified version. Okay, and then just coming forward. And this will also kind of rest our shoulders. We've done a bit of shoulder work here. So just allow your shoulders to relax down by your sides and release the forehead down wherever you're at. So this one should be a fairly comfortable posture for most people, especially if you have flexibility at all. So just settling into this space and allowing yourself to begin to tap into the yin energy. It has a very specific energy about it. I've found after years of practicing yin, it's a very calming, grounding energy, almost a sleepy energy. I find when I come out of a really good yin practice, I'm so slow and lethargic and my body feels heavy, but in such a good way. So just starting to move into that yin energy, especially in this posture where it doesn't feel like you might have that antsy mental chatter going on, like this is uncomfortable, I want to get out of this pose. Hopefully it's a fairly relaxed posture for you. So we'll just hold here for another couple minutes.
Noticing the breath, keeping the breath long. So inhaling deeply all the way down to the belly, exhaling fully. I really like counting my breath, so to make sure that you have a nice equal inhale and exhale, and that it's lengthened to keep the nervous system calm. So you could inhale and exhale for the count of 4 or even 6. So just inhaling for the count of 4 and exhaling for the count of 4 also helps to keep the mind occupied if you tend to follow your thoughts. Last couple breaths here. On your next inhale, slowly make your way up, keeping the head tucked towards the chin to keep the energy grounded. You can remove the bolster or the prop. Okay, we'll come on to hands and knees, tabletop position. Just take a few rounds of cat-cow. So inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze just slightly. Exhale, round through the spine, tuck the tailbone. Inhale, draw the chest forward, cow pose. Exhale, round through the spine for cat pose. Make your way back to a neutral spine. Okay, make your way onto your belly. We'll take another shoulder stretch here. So bring your right arm over to the right, and then we're going to roll onto the right side. So it seems like it might be a pretty crazy posture, but see if you can get into it. Now, with the legs, you can bring your left foot in front of the right or behind. Okay. If you have a pillow or a block handy, you can rest your head on a block or down onto the ground, whatever works for you. Okay, I'm going to use a block. And then you can have your left fingertips kind of resting and supporting yourself. Okay, we won't hold this one for too long because this can be fairly intense in the shoulder joints and the muscles. If you have shoulder injuries, just be very mindful of this posture. If it doesn't feel right, then you can skip this part. Just settling into this posture, feeling supported as best you can. About 5 more breaths here.
And make your way back through center slowly. Okay, then we'll switch sides. So left arm over to the left, roll onto the left side. Bring your right hand by your head and you can rest your head on the block. And then get your legs situated, so either the right foot in front of the left leg or behind. Make any adjustments that you might need. And then settle in here for the next few breaths. Last few breaths here. Gently roll onto your belly. Remove the block if you had one. And then just place your hands onto the mat. Rest one cheek onto the hands. And then switch sides, opposite cheek to the hands. Okay, begin to make your way back to center, hands underneath your shoulders. Make your way back up through tabletop position. Okay, so we're going to do one last posture. And if you have blocks, you can do the block option. The block is a little more intense, I would say. So this is, you'll feel it in the shoulders. It's actually a chest opener. And you'll notice if you tend to hunch over, if you're on your keyboard or on your phone and you're hunched over like this, your chest over time, the connective tissues will start to draw together. So the fascia and everything that's kind of holding the front of the chest together will start to collapse. So you notice as people get older, they'll get the hunchback. So a really important thing of keeping the neck and shoulders area open is also the front of the chest. So this is a great posture for that. I do like this one. I'll cue both. Like I said, this one's a little more intense if you have the blocks, and if you don't have blocks, that's okay. We can do the bolster version. Okay, so it takes a little minute to get set up here. With this version, you'll want the block on the middle height, so not the high height or the low height, the middle height, so that it's the skinny part. And you'll lean back on it and place your shoulder blades, so it'll be right about here. So the block is kind of at the top of the shoulder blades. Okay, so you lay back, just kind of feel into it. And then the second block can be on the low height or the middle height.
So the low height's going to give you more openness in the front of the throat, and the middle height's going to give you more support. Okay, so that's option 1. Option 2 is using the bolster or pillow or something that's similar to the shape of this bolster that you can, so maybe like a couch cushion pillow, or if you need to, you can kind of roll up a pillow with a belt. So you could pause and get that organized. Hopefully you have something handy so you don't have to pull yourself out of yin too much. Okay, so this one, make sure if you have a bolster that the bolster's hitting right at the sacrum. Okay. And then lay back. Okay. And then if you feel a lot of compression in the lower back, you can step the hips forward. So there won't be as much tension there. All right, with your legs, you can either straighten the legs for less, basically less intensity here. You can bend into the knees, bring the soles of the feet mat-width distance apart and knees in. This is probably the gentlest version. And then if you want a little hip opener, you can bring the soles of the feet together. Okay. So with your arms, bring your arms out to a T. So your arms will be resting on the ground. You're not hovering. You're allowing the backs of the hands and the forearms to rest on the ground. Just notice that spot where you bring your arms out, extended on either side of you, where you feel the most sensation in the front of the shoulders and the chest. Okay, you'll be able to find that sweet spot. And then we'll just settle in here. This is one of my favorite postures. Really great heart opener. And it's very much a surrendering posture. So when we're on our backs, we're more exposed, potentially vulnerable, as opposed to like child's pose where we're curled up in a little ball, facing the earth, feeling protected. So we're moving into a state of surrender and a state of expansion. So just notice the sensations that come into your heart space, into your chest, in this posture, absorbing all of the good energy from the space around you. Last couple breaths here. Gently roll your way off the bolster onto one side, coming into the fetal position. So just round into the spine, tuck the knees in. Okay, then you can remove the bolster, set it aside, or blocks, or whatever you are using. And draw your knees into your chest. Hug yourself in a tight ball. Option to draw your forehead up to your knees. Take a little movement side to side. Releasing any tension in the lower back. Okay, we'll set up for Shavasana. So if you like having support underneath your knees for your lower back, you can bring your bolster underneath the knees. Okay, coming onto your back, arms down by your sides. And take the first minute or so to get yourself situated. Adjusting any parts of the back side of your body that are in contact with the mat. Awareness to the breath. Following the breath down into the belly. Just observing the belly rising and falling. Allow yourself to rest fully and deeply here. I'll leave you here in Shavasana, staying here as long as your body needs. I thank you for sharing your practice with me. Namaste.